Good morning, everyone. My name is Shreyas, and I feel privileged to open this event and stand here. A warm welcome to one and all present here, on our honorable guest speaker, Dr. Madhusudan Patel, respected teachers, distinguished guests, and beloved students. Dr. Patel is a retired neurologist and founder of Psychoneuro Endocrino Immunology Center in Berlin, Germany. He studied in Cologne, Boston, and New York. He worked in different medical institutes. He worked in different medical institutes in USA, Canada, Germany, and Italy. He obtained his early schooling in Sri Aurobindo International Center of Foundation in Pondicherry, India, and was personally taken care of and brought up by the mother of Sri Aurobindo Ashram. Currently, he works as a private consultant with groups, companies, individuals to help them solve health and other personal and organizational problems by applying their inner spiritual energy and applying the wisdom and teachings of the great masters, such as the mother of Sri Aurobindo Ashram in Pondicherry, India, and Lord Sri Aurobindo. Dr. Madhusudan was born in Tanzania on March 10, 1938, moved to Sri Aurobindo Ashram in Pondicherry with his entire family in early 1940s. He was removed from the authority of his parents at the age of 5 or 6 by the mother of the ashram with the following words: "As of today, this child is my son, and I will personally bring him up." The mother put him in the first boarding house of the ashram. From this day on, the mother spent significant amount of time teaching, explaining, educating, and answering the unending numbers of questions related to spirituality, occult science, and about the human nature of him. It was a mother who advised and taught how to evoke and apply spiritual and various energies within his medical work. In 1961, through the advice of the mother, he started on his academic ventures, first in Cologne, Germany, and then in Canada and USA. He did his doctorate in Boston and New York, and specialized in neurology. Through the specific advice of the mother, who had explained him that the human brain is the most important organ within the process of spirituality and self-actualization, he then specialized further in medical science of psychoneuroendocrino immunology, which, according to him, is for sure the very first medical field that approaches very clearly and scientifically Sri Aurobindo's vision of integral yoga. He has work experience for a number of years in universities, hospitals, in psychiatry, but has spent most of his working years in research and private practice. He has been and still in the international consultant for various industrial, commercial, and business organizations. His patients or clients includes the ordinary working man, businessman, politicians, doctors, housewives, philosophers, soldiers, government employees, teachers, and children of all age. His greatest professional passion is to help each individual to learn how to achieve, activate, and to apply the inner spiritual energies for attaining self-fulfillment, self-actualization, and self-realization, especially by applying the spiritual wisdom of teachings of the great master, such as the mother and Sri Aurobindo. Dr. Madhusudan Patel presently lives partially in Pondicherry, India, in Germany, and in Italy. He speaks Gujarati, Hindi, Bengali, English, French, Italian, German, and is presently learning the language of heart, Tamil. So I request Madhusudan Patel to Radhika to give the students about what topic that we will be covering today, so that then, thank you.
So, the topic of today's seminar is Aspiration and Ambition, Neurological Approach for Goal or Objective Setting and Fulfillment. This seminar is dedicated to those students and individuals who desire, aspire, or have ambitions that they would like to attain in their life. These desires, aspirations, or ambitions could be academic, economic, emotional, physical, or spiritual in their nature. The successful attainment of all this is dependent on various factors, including the setting of objectives and goals, intelligence, and know-how. However, though intelligence and academic know-how are important, they are for sure not the essential ingredients within the process of success. We know of many brilliant and intelligent students or individuals who have failed in life. There are many ingredients within the formula of success, but the most important and definitely the essential ingredient is the individual's knowledge and his capability to apply his various neurological abilities to overcome all obstacles and to attain success. This seminar will explain in simple terms the role the human brain plays within the process of personal success, goal attainment, and self-realization. It will demonstrate that the human brain has more to give than just intelligence, rationale, and logic. This seminar aims to teach the participants how to set objectives and goals and how to overcome personal insecurities, doubts, and fears through the application of various capacities of the human brain, regardless of academic or intelligence level. The essential goal of this seminar is to help each participant attain his or her self-fulfillment and self-realization in life through the knowledge and application of his various inborn neurological abilities. Thank you.
Um, he's switched it on. Can you hear me? Yes. Oh, that's nice. I'd like to add, she said this seminar is dedicated to various objectives, but I have to add something very, very important for all of you who are here, especially the principals and the teachers, that I dedicate for the first time this seminar in India to a great nationalist, a great individual, as the founder of this college, Narasimhayya. He is a classical example for you people to follow what I'm trying to teach today. He applied. He never met me. I wish I had met him. But he has applied that what I'm going to teach you. He applied Sri Mahatma Gandhi's philosophy, teachings, that millions of people all over the world know. But there are few like him who have applied Mahatma Gandhi's philosophy into practical life. And through his achievement, brilliant students, brilliant academic individuals, engineers and others, are today all over the world doing Mahatma Gandhi's work in practice. And this is what you children have to do. You have to apply the teachings of Gandhiji. Not just learn, not just repeat what he has said, but do what Narasimhayya did. He applied it with great sacrifice. So to me, he is my greatest Indian hero, because he has done for this country that I love and that I have not yet been able to serve so much that I, today, in front of all of you, volunteer to help this college in any way I can. Because I believe in people like the founder of your college. So let us start now with the seminar. It is important that you understand that the most important or most evolved organism in this universe is the human brain. And you people are using it regularly. You are even performing miracles that you don't even know that you are performing them. But actually you are applying a lot of these capacities that you are not even aware of. Okay? If you become aware and use these capacities, then you will see that you can attain incredible things. This is exactly what your founder has done, I'm sure. He started with simple means, and I was told that he used to walk long distances to come to school. Okay? He was simple. He slept on a mat. But look what he has achieved. So you can do it if you now knowingly apply the capacities of your brain. All of you understand your brain as the center of your intelligence, logic, and rationale. Yes, it's very important. For math, you need to understand and use this logic. But today it's not enough just to learn maths and to use logic. Today, we have to confront many, many obstacles which are becoming ever more complicated for young people, such as insecurities, fears, doubts. And nobody teaches you in a college, how do you overcome fear? How do you overcome doubts? How do you truly set objectives? Everybody sets objectives and says, I want to become an engineer. There's a young man who graduated here, who sits in front of me. I'm sure he decided and had set an objective that he wants to study computer sciences and go in that particular field of activity, and today he has attained it. Had he known, had he met me before, and had he applied this capacity that he has in him, because he now knows it, then he would have achieved what he has achieved. He would have perhaps achieved it faster or even better. And today I hope that you understand what I'm trying to teach. Neurology is a very complex science. The brain is a very complex organism. So I'm not here to teach you about neurophysiology or brain, how it is structured and all that, but some of its capacities that you have. I will start by examples. Everything that the brain transmits is transmitted through energy sources. Your thought process, thought is an energy, it's a frequency. And in neurology, we can see these frequencies with an electroencephalogram, okay? And that's why we know that a person who's in coma, if his brain is still functioning, is there a blockage somewhere in the brain? Is there a damage? Okay? So we can measure these frequencies, and you are constantly thinking, so you're constantly transmitting energies. And this is what we have to use, the energies of the brain, not this concept of intelligence that you learn something, you memorize, and that you apply it, but you also learn that your brain has frequencies and energies which you can apply on your brain to calm it, for instance, from insecurities or fear or nervousness. Okay? So in goal setting, it's not enough that you know what you want, but how do you attain that? I've seen a lot of people who have set objectives in their life and have changed again and again and again because they could not attain the objectives that set, because they had not set it in a proper way, and they had not used these capacities in their brain. Now, for setting objectives, I will give you later certain techniques or certain rules that you should have in order to achieve them. And most people who have achieved what they want have applied these steps. I guess so. Okay? Like he knows when he starts college, when he will finish college, when he wants to start working and so on. So there's time limits to objectives. What am I going to achieve in 3 months? What I'm going to achieve in 6 months? But these are concrete things that you can write down. But that is not enough. You have to implant these objectives in your subconscious mind, in your brain. Okay? So consciously he knows where he wants to go in 6 months and all that, or when he finishes his college. But still he feels very insecure. I will give you a very interesting example. I think I must have helped hundreds of brilliant medical students pass their medical exams. These students who are brilliant, because in America we have numerous clausus, we call it in Latin. It depends on how your grades are in your school when you graduate. And if your grades are high enough, you can enter medical school. So only the top graduates of a college can enter into medical school. So every single student in medicine is academically brilliant, okay? But a lot of them would have to come to me because they suffer from insecurities, fear that they will not pass the exam. And so what happens? The exam is in 6 months and already the nervousness starts. And the closer the exam comes, the greater the nervousness and fear that they will not pass the exam or they will have problems or this or that. To the point that they can't sleep at night, they can't learn, they can't eat. And it gets worse because if you can't sleep tonight, then next night you're even more tired. And if you're tired, you can't learn. You'll forget everything if you're exhausted. Okay? And you don't eat, that's even worse. So they would go to the doctor, to their house doctor, and say, "Doctor, I'm having this problem." So the doctor finally says, "Okay, look, take these tablets." And these are tranquilizers. They calm you down. These are antidepressants, tranquilizers. They calm the nervous system. These are pharmaceutical products, not Ayurvedic. Ayurveda is fantastic medicine. By the way, I come from the traditional medicine, or let's call it modern medicine. But you people have in India what they call Ayurveda, which is absolutely fantastic. I have very little knowledge of it, but the little knowledge I have tells me that Ayurveda is perhaps a great solution for a lot of problems that we have in medicine. But apart from that, they would go to the doctor, they'd get these tranquilizers. What happens? He falls asleep, and then he sleeps for 12 hours. He wakes up, he says, "My God, I've overslept, I have to study." And he's now even more nervous because he has lost a lot of time, and the fear is still there. So finally the doctor gets fed up and says, "Go to Madhusudan, to Dr. Madhusudan." So they'd come to me. What would I do? Whatever I did, it worked immediately. They did not need more than 2 or 3 sessions maximum to come to me to learn certain things, techniques. And in seminar, actually, we can demonstrate that. We can do that. I don't know if there are volunteers here who are willing to say, "Okay, I'm going to try it, let's do this. I have this and this problem." But then you have to tell what the problem is, and then let's see if we can change that, and if he can then testify to his professors here in the college a week later or whenever, "Yes, I feel better, I'm less nervous, I'm less anxious, or I have no more fear." What do I do? And that is exactly what I'm going to explain here, that after these sessions with me, the person passes his exams, he's no problem, he's less nervous. Yes, there's still that certain amount of tension is there. Suspense, I call it, more than tension now. Previously it was tension and fear. Now it's this suspense. Okay? But every single individual that I have done and helped, so far I have never received a notice of failure. And I'm being very honest and very sincere. And it has nothing to do with my abilities. It has to do with knowledge. I only transmit knowledge. Okay? But they apply it. Gandhiji transmitted certain knowledge. He applied it. So if you apply Gandhiji's knowledge, like he did, yeah. So if you apply also for your college here, the knowledge I'm going to give you, the techniques, you will see that you will make your life easier. And if you do what I say, in the beginning it's a little tedious, it's long when I do the demonstration, when I do with the patient, that I ask him to perform certain brain activities. It takes time and all that. But once you've learned what this whole thing is, then for me, for instance, I don't have to sit and do something specific with my brain. It's instantaneous. Because it becomes a part of, becomes almost automatic, like breathing. That whenever there is a challenge, whenever there is a confrontation, whenever there is a need for performance, automatically that clicks in and you are not nervous, you are not afraid of. You sleep, I sleep, I have no problem with the next day I have to give a seminar. And as you can see, I have not even brought papers and notes to tell you because I have this confidence that what I know and I can transmit it. And the neurological factor comes in when you start understanding how your brain works, and then I'll tell you what are these techniques, how you can use them, and what happens. Okay? So, we have two brain halves, the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. And you have it in your handouts I've given, that there are two hemispheres of the brain. The right hemisphere is where, I don't know if there are many art students here, and languages and all that comes also from the right hemisphere. Mainly art, music, for instance, comes from the right hemisphere. But your logic, mathematics, so most of you people, most of your students who are in this computer science section are using your left hemisphere. Your mathematics, your logic and rationale comes from your left hemisphere. And it's very strong with people who are in mathematics, computer science and all that, their left hemisphere. And for musicians and others, it's the brain, right hemisphere. Then there are people who love music, who are very musical, and who also love science. They use both sides. I'm lucky that I'm one of those because my biggest passion in life is music, classical music, and or playing the piano and things like that. But I'm also a man of science, and I like to think a lot, and I like to reason a lot, and that's where the left hemisphere comes into action. All right. The problem is this, that the left hemisphere is the center of your logic and rationale. And your fears, your insecurities, your doubts, and your hindrances come from the left side. Because you know that you have to know all the answers. You have to have the complete knowledge in order to pass an exam. So let's say if it's an exam in anatomy, he has to know everything about an anatomical field in which he's going to give his exam. And that comes from the left side. And the fear comes also from the left side because he knows that he has to know all this and that he does not know what the questions are going to be. And what you don't know, you are always afraid of. You can't be afraid of something that you know. Okay? For instance, if you ask a child to go into a dark room where he can't see, he'll be at first afraid, thinking, my God, there might be a tiger, there might be a lion, you know. And you switch on the light, the child sees that there are lots of beautiful toys on the floor, he forgets the fear, and he rushes and starts playing with the toys. Because now he knows that there is no danger, there are toys there. So what you know helps you not to have fear. So for instance, if you knew that tomorrow you have an exam, and even though you know that you have not studied for that exam, because your uncle is the person who is going to check the exams, and he has already told you, no, don't worry, go play cricket, you will pass. Believe it or not, since you know that you're going to pass, you won't be afraid, because your uncle has guaranteed you. No chance that you'll be afraid, because he has said, you'll pass. Now you can understand this example, that what you know helps you not to be afraid of. When you don't know the results of a thing, like your results of your exams, you're afraid. I'm telling you this because the left hemisphere is the logic. That's where you say, my God, I don't know what questions will come. And I hope it is something I know, but it might be something that I don't know, that I have missed somewhere. And there is this fear that you'll not pass your exam. The right hemisphere, there is no logic there. 1 + 1 makes 2 here. If I ask the right hemisphere, how much is 1 + 1? No. And we know this because there was a time we performed lobotomy where we separated the two brain halves. It is forbidden now for certain illnesses and so on that we were trying research to see if it would help solve that particular neurological illness. Now it is forbidden. No, it's no more practice. Don't be afraid. Nobody will separate your brain halves. But when one of the brain halves is paralyzed and does not function, then we see what functions remain. So if your left brain hemisphere, where your logic and rationale is paralyzed through an accident, let's say, but the right is still functioning, you will not be able to, I'll ask you, what is 1 plus 1? And you look at me, and you have no answer. Because you don't know what it is, 1 plus 1. But if you're a piano player, and like to play piano like I like to, you play piano with both hands. I won't be able to play the piano with the right hand because I'm paralyzed. And the left, by the way, brain hemisphere controls your right body part. The right hemisphere controls your left body part. So if the left is paralyzed, the right side is paralyzed. So you can't do mathematics and all that. But with your left hand, you can play piano or play tabla. So you can see what comes from where. Now, how can we use all this? Why am I telling you all this? Because no matter how often I would have told him, you will pass, you're good. I'm not the professor. I'm not his uncle. I know, I'm saying, you study, you'll pass. You study, you are brilliant, you'll pass. That insecurity is there. They can tell you, your father, mother, everybody can tell you, even your professor can tell you, you're brilliant, you'll pass. You'll be afraid because you don't know the results. But that fear is in the left side. So if the left side is paralyzed, the right side won't give a damn whether you're going to pass or not. I don't know what's happening with this microphone. Can you hear me? Okay, if you can't, you must raise your hand or stand up or shout and say, talk louder. I'm very relaxed. I used to be a rebellious student. When I used to sit like this, if I had a question, I would just stand up and say, Professor, can I ask you a question? And the American professors are very tolerant. They are not strict like your professors here. No, okay. The problem is, your left side is paralyzed, so you're not afraid of the exam and all that. Because fear comes from here. Here it doesn't go. And this is something very, very important that we understand, that your right brain hemisphere is from where your noble thoughts come. This is the romantic side of your brain where you like music and all that. Comes from your right side. And thanks God it does not have this logic where you can be afraid. So if I can implant in your right hemisphere the concept that you have passed the exam, that you will pass, not only you will pass, you have passed. Now, since there is no logic, the left side will say, no, it's not possible, the exam is in 6 months. How can I have passed? But the right side has no logic. So if I tell the right side, you have passed, it is a Buddhu, believes it. But that Buddhu is a clever Buddhu because it takes away Buddhu. It's a Hindi word, I think, Buddhu. Stupid. No? Yeah, I have to relearn my Hindi. Anyway, it accepts whatever you implant, but how do you do that? Since logic doesn't enter, and it can be done through images. You see, even if the left side is paralyzed and so on, the person can't read and write. But if you show him pictures, you understand. When all of you are very young, so you don't have children, but little children, their brain is still not so evolved that they can read and write. They're still learning. But already they can understand stories, children's stories, through picture books. So that's why parents buy picture books for their children, because through pictures they understand. So if you ask a child who has never seen, let's say, a rabbit, what is a rabbit? The child doesn't know. If you try to explain it by words, saying it's an animal, it has got very furry hair, it has got long ears, it is like this, it's like that, he's not capable of understanding. If I asked all of you, I have something in my hand, and I said, do you know what it is? You say, no. I said, yes, I'll tell you what it is. It is my eye. What I have in my hand is my eye. The person says, I don't know what my eye is. because Maya is a Swahili word. Then I said, well, it is dim. It's a Bengali word, dim. You don't speak Bengali? You say, I don't know. Is there anybody who speaks Tamil here? Anybody understands Tamil? Yes. So, what is a koi mutte? Yes, chicken egg. So, if you don't know the language, you don't know. But when I show it to you, even to a Swahili kid, he sees it, he says, oh yes, this is mayai. In Swahili, it's mayai. So, you can see that pictures can tell you things. So, if you show a child a picture of a rabbit or a rabbit, he knows immediately what a rabbit is. And next time when you ask, what is a rabbit? The child opens the book and says, look, uncle, this is a rabbit. I'm telling you all this, please pay attention. It is not just little stories. Just to explain in very simple terms what your right hemisphere and your left hemisphere can do. And where I'm leading you to is that if you can implant in your right brain, even though your left side is working and the knowledge is there that is in 6 months I have an exam, in your right brain hemisphere, that no, you are already an engineer. Okay? Then the level of fear goes down because that certitude is there, that knowledge. But how do I do it? Through imagery, through visualization. Okay? And so if you want to implant something in your right hemisphere, you have to have a very clear image of what you want. And this is a problem also in setting goals and objectives. I've seen this. I am sure I can help people attain spiritual heights faster through neurology than through traditional spiritual practices or long hours of meditation, discipline, and all that. They will attain it. They will, but it takes much longer. But if he uses this knowledge of how this brain works, then my spiritual attainment is faster. I personally, in my life, I consider myself a spiritual person. Why do I consider myself a spiritual person? Because I'm the happiest man on earth. And for me, the benchmark of spirituality is happiness. If you're happy, it means that you are leading a spiritual life. It doesn't mean that you're meditating and praying and doing all that, but you are doing nothing that harms you or harms anybody else or disturbs you or disturbs anybody. You're doing everything proper, everything in your life is okay, your economics are okay, your health is okay, your physical, your emotional health, all that. Okay? So, important is that this comes from your neurological capacity. For me, my knowledge of the brain has helped me immensely in achieving and attaining success, but most of all, of being a happy person. So you can apply this also in your emotional life. So anything you want and everything you truly want, if you want it, you will get it. You will attain it. However, there are certain criteria that it should be within your personal universe. So for instance, I'm 85 now. So if I said, oh, I have achieved everything I wanted, and now I want to be a space scientist, let's put it this, I want to be an astronaut. That is out of my world. It's too far away. That's not possible. It is not my universe. Okay? And it's not possible for me at this age to become an astronaut. So that's futile. That is, then you are truly erratic. You are not rational. You have to use certain amount of logic, what is in your possibility. So, the son of the sweeper of your courtyard, but who is coming to this college here and studying, he doesn't have to become a sweeper. He can become a computer scientist in MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, be a professor there. And believe it or not, we have professors from India. They are in highest of positions. If every engineer of Indian origin walks out of United States United States can close down business and everything. Everything. They can shut down the churches and everything. You know? No, this is something important that you understand, that the boy, the son, father is a sweeper, but the son can become what he wants because he got education and knowledge that you professors gave. And then he applies it, and he does it like your founder. He's a hero. So I know you are all following Mahatma Gandhi's philosophy, but I want you to apply that philosophy. That's what your founder did. And I want you to use the knowledge I give you of your brain, that you can then attain and achieve the goals you want faster and better, so that you become a contributor to this growth of humanity, our material evolution, so that there is more prosperity, there are lesser poor people and all that. The sooner you become successful, more the world benefits from you. Now, how do we do that? We set these objectives and things is first by also setting up objectives. So I don't know, everybody here has an objective. That's why they're coming to college, that they want to attain certain things. But I am sure if there was a volunteer here, I would like him to come forward and then ask him questions, and he has to answer sincerely what the answers are. And finally, the probabilities are very high, almost 99%, that the person thinks he knows what he wants, and in general he knows, but not specifically. And that is what then delays it even more to attain. But if you know it specifically, then you have a straight route to it. It's much faster. So how do you set objectives, and what you should do before setting objectives? Okay, you have to know where you are going. So it's not enough, and that is what is with all of you. You all are saying, yes, we are going towards a career, or we are going on a trip. But you can be on the road and say, I'm on a trip, but you'll turn in circles because you do not know where you are going, where you want to go. But if you have an objective, final objective, and say, no, we are going to go to New Delhi. I'm going to New Delhi. How? By bicycle, walking, train, whatever, that's not relevant right now. Right now, first you have to have a concrete objective. It's Delhi that you want to be at. And then, more or less at least, but as precise as possible, within what time do you want to reach Delhi? Okay? If that is possible, yes, at times it's not possible depending on which field you are, but even then, and then you set up steps. Once I've decided I want to go to Delhi, then I can say, okay, now how do I go there? I want to go there. But what means do I have? What are my capacities? Can I afford a train? Can I take a flight? Do I take a bullock cart? What do I do? And these are the things we can do, and you have to write down and say, okay, I have this, this, this. So in 3 months, I have to be, I don't know, my geography is almost zero. I hope there are no geography professors here because they would not take me as their student. But I know where Delhi is more or less, but I don't know from Bangalore which are the cities that come. But I can say from Bangalore, I'm going to go to this particular village. Within 2 weeks, I have to be in that village because I'm walking. So these are very specific goals that you have to write down. And usually I tell people to write down objectives, first the main goal, and then the objectives, what they want to reach between certain time frames, depending on your, for instance, if it's an academic thing, then also how your college is, how they function, I do not know. But you say, okay, in 3 years or 3 months, I will complete such and such course. I did that because I did also, while I was studying, I also did an MBA. Okay, Masters in Business Administration. And you said, what does an idiot in neurology want to do in Masters in Business Administration? No, because I had the possibility to work in health organizations where knowledge of management and all that is very important if you're in a leading position. So while I was doing my main studies and others, I did that also. Okay? And that's helped me today that I can help corporate managers and so on for their problems and all that. But you have to put dates, how many. So I did within 3 months and in such way that I did my MBA, I think within 12 months of courses, which were done in parts because there were training sessions in between and all that. But it was unbelievable. It helped me. My own knowledge helped me how to plan my life, my academic life, without stress. So you put dates and times, depending on what you're doing, what you want. And all this thing will work. And if the people are saying, yes, one of my objectives is I want to get married. Now that is a different story. Especially if it is a love marriage, because you might be in love with that boy, but that boy is in love with that girl. And then it becomes complicated. So my saying you can attain everything you want is in that sense a little difficult, unless you are pursuing power to say to the boy, you marry me or I'll kill you, and then he'll marry you. So take things with a sense of humor also, please. So you put dates, please. You put time frames. How much in 3 months? How much in 6 months? How much in a year? How much in 3 years? Okay? Things like that. Depending in the field you are. If you happen to come to me when I'm here in Bangalore or anything, then I can help you set that. Okay? Or you can call me and I can help you. By the way, I am at the service of this college. I will help this college anytime. Okay? At my age, I can afford to give services. I have received so much from humanity and from all of you that I can give. So you can, if you come individually to me or call me or so, or write to me, then I always answer. You have to be patient because there are so many people writing and all that. The phone is all the time doing ding, 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 ding. But don't worry. It doesn't bother me. It's part of my life. You breathe, oxygen, it's important. If you stop breathing, you'll die. If I stop working, I'll die because I love my work. It's my passion. So, coming back to goal settings, you set the goals, but then now you have to fix it in your subconscious mind, which is the right hemisphere. Because it's the subconscious mind, it's in the background. Your left side is saying, I have to go to college today, at this time I have to be there, and this afternoon I have this class and all that. That's the left side. But in your subconscious mind, you know that you're going to pass that course and all that within this time frame, and you are going to become that what you want to become. Okay? Now, I want to change the subject and come back to something extremely important for each and every one of you. Is that I want to break from your subconscious mind and also your conscious mind that you're a part of this collectivity, of this society, and that's correct. But believe it or not, you're not slave to this society. You have the right to be what you want. Okay? As long as you want, and that what you want doesn't in any way harm you based on your knowledge, your personal experiences, okay, and your intelligence. You say, I want to do this. You ask yourself, will this hurt me? If the answer is no, then ask the second question, could it hurt someone else? And if the answer is no, it won't hurt anyone else based on what information I have, then go ahead and do it even if others don't do it. And automatically you see that it will be something that is not outside the law. Nobody can want to do something outside the law because then automatically the answer will be, yes, this will harm me because if I rob a bank, it's out of the law and I'll be punished for it. It will harm me. I'll end up in jail. So if you use this, why I'm saying this is that especially in our country where there is this community sense, respect for parents, teachers and everything, which is extremely important and precious, but also understand that your parents and your teachers want you to succeed. And your parents, your teachers, they're advanced academically and intellectually. But your parents, as I said, the young boys whose father is a sweeper, you can't expect that man to be philosophical and all that. You can't expect him to be as democratic as your professor. Okay? He has his training as a child and he wants his son to be like this and perform such and such rituals and all that. That's normal. So you have to respect your parents, see that you don't hurt them, but you understand that no, what you want is what is very important. And I'm sure your professors will agree with that they teach you, but they do not force you to want a particular career, a particular job with a particular company. Okay? I'm sure they want you to succeed, but succeed in what you want, where you want to work, and how you want it. And they will help you with the knowledge that you need. So this you have to apply also in your private emotional life. In India, I see this is a big handicap, this love for our parents and our relatives and our community, which is very sacred, sure. But believe it or not, even Gandhiji will tell you, your personal individuality, your personal dignity, if you're honorable, then that is very important. And so then, in very nice way, in beautiful ways, you can convince the others that what you're doing is right for you. Okay, they will understand. And there you can always seek assistance of your teachers and professors and others, that they can speak then to the parents and say, look, don't force her to marry, or don't force him to marry a particular girl. You know, that. These things can be done. Professors, you use them. Don't let them just teach you. Go to them. Ask them for advice, personal, emotional advice. I can't believe that you're not concerned. There's a professor sitting in front of me. I'm sure you're concerned about your students' emotional life. See, she says exactly. And I want you to use this. Don't go to your professor only for your classwork and all that, but also for guidance. Use their experience. Okay? Because they're older than you. Already that makes them more experienced than you. Just the age. So this is something extremely important. I want to tell you this, and that's why in my handout I've put a diagram of being centered. That you should be the center of your universe. Okay? Of your personal universe. Not your mother, not your father, not your family. They are important, they're part of your universe. But you are the center. And if you watch, I give you an example. A car wheel has an axle. Okay? This axle is 100% centered. It is perfectly centered. Why is it perfectly centered in a car wheel, the axle? Hey, come on, somebody got to speak up. Why is the axle important of a car to be totally in the center? If it is not in the center, what would happen? Exactly, it will vibrate. Okay? It won't turn smoothly, and it will vibrate. So if the center is, let's say, fraction of a millimeter not in the center, then there will be a vibration. The bigger this distance from the center, the stronger the vibration, and to the point that it can be even shocks. So the wheel will go like this. Okay? If it is centered, what happens to the axle if it is not centered? With time, the axle can even break through the vibration and through the knocks of the wheel because it's not centered. Okay? So if it is centered, this axle will last longer than the entire car, all the engines, everything. It's because it's just a steel rod. Okay? And it lasts forever, eternity, because it is centered. And I'm saying this to you, that if you are centered, then you are truly sovereign. And you will last. You'll have lot of energy, far more energy to perform what you want and to perform it smoothly without creating shocks and waves for your parents, your relatives, your professors and others. And then you will see that you are in harmony with everybody, like this axle is in harmony with this entire wheel. Okay? And then what happens when you're centered? See, when you're not centered, we know that you get these knocks. When you're centered, you transmit a centrifugal energy. I do not know in India, you have washing machines, because I know they wash clothes a lot at home with the maids, with the hands. When I was a child, I came from a rich family, but at that time they had not yet perhaps invented washing machines, or they didn't. So there's a maid washing the clothes. But today we have these washing machines, and then to get the water out, it starts rotating. It rotates very fast, to the point it creates this centrifugal energy, and it pushes all this water out. So, listen, my child, if you are centered, you will see, you transmit an occult energy. All energies are occult. Oh, by the way, occultism, don't be afraid, is not black magic. Occultism is the science of energies, understanding them, learning how to manipulate them, and applying them. That is occultism. Okay? It is not black magic. People think occultism are people who do black magic and voodoo, and they can curse you, and it doesn't function that way. But these are energies. Okay. You transmit this occult energy, it's a frequency, it's harmony. That people come in contact with you, they feel very well, they feel comfortable. And I'm sure all of you have experienced, somewhere or else, that there are certain people you approach, somehow you don't like. Even if you don't know them, somehow you don't feel at ease with them. Some people you know, but you don't like them, and you see that because when you go, they've not done anything bad to you, but still you don't want to be near them. And then there are other people that you find attractive that you want to get to know. And you say, hey, that boy is nice, this girl is good. Why? She's transmitting not just that beauty that she has, but she's transmitting also, or he's also transmitting certain thing which is very, very contagious. It's beautiful. And we have done research in these areas. We have done laboratory research in the field of energies, and these are occult energies. And all of you use every day these occult energies because your thought is occult. You can't see it. The love you feel for your parents is occult. You can't see it. You feel it, but you can't see it. And you feel it because it's an effect. And we have done this neurologically. That if I hook you up with microphones and tell you beautiful things, pleasant things, nice thoughts that you're thinking, we see immediately that your blood pressure goes down, the value of your blood is far better than before we started the sessions. And then we change subject and we go into something very disturbing, something that is not nice. And your heart starts beating fast, your blood pressure goes up, and immediately we see a change in blood values. So imagine what your thoughts can do. Believe it or not, children, your best friend on this earth can be your brain, and your worst enemy is your brain. All of you have this enemy between your 2 ears. Few have their best friend between their 2 ears. And my job is to teach you to master your brain, to make your brain your best friend, meaning that you are dominating your brain. Okay? You're managing your brain. And you are doing that. He had to dominate. He's a student who graduated here, and he has a very good job. He dominated. He doesn't know this. But when he started, he didn't have the knowledge that you have now. But he dominated his brain to learn all that. So why can't he dominate his brain to say, shut up, think only things that make me feel good? That's what I do. My wife asked me, what are you thinking about? I said, nothing. She said, that's not possible. I said, yes, it is possible because I'm too lazy to think. I mean, redundant thoughts. I'm being serious. And it's very pleasant, believe it. But then also I use my brain for nice things. When I think of beautiful flowers, the smile on somebody's face, a child that I do not even know, and the child smiles at you. And the Indian parents are so loving, they all say, give a kiss to uncle, say bye, say hello. Huh, Helga? We go walking on the beach in Pondicherry, and all these parents with the beautiful children. And the Indian parents are very, very loving to their children and teach the children lovingness towards others. Well, we don't get that much in the West. Don't do that in America or in Europe. They might think you're a pedophile or something like that. They don't, what do I want my child, you know? It's funny. Look, now you see what great nation we are. We are a nation of love. Anyway, so dominating your brain is the idea here in this seminar. And by knowing how these two hemispheres work and how you can master them is what makes the thing. So when I'm talking of this centeredness, is that if there is no blackboard here, but you can see the circle there and you can see the various elements of your life, daily life. What are these variants in your life? Your school program, your lunch, your date that you have after school, your uncle, your grocery man, your postman, all these are elements of your universe. And if you notice, if you observe, and if you are interested and curious about your life, observe what your thoughts and your preoccupations are. You will see you're always preoccupied with a lot of things. You're eating, but you're thinking about the course you have in the afternoon. You're in the course and you're thinking about your boyfriend, where will you go, in which movie you'll go to. Oh, I don't know if that's allowed in India or not, but your professor is watching and saying, be sure you talk the right things. But, oh, the screen, that's very nice. So these are the various activities of your life, or your mother, your father, your grocery man, your postman, your boyfriend, your teachers, and all that. You are not centered. And I'm saying this because I know, unless somebody challenges and says, yes, I'm centered, that's fine. But if you're honest, you will see that actually, every time you observe yourself, you are turning around your individual activities and so on. And while you are turning around, so if you, instead of being there, you're not even here. None of you are here. None of you are there. None of you are even here. You're not even in your universe. You're outside, and from here you are trying to control your universe. All these things. You'll go mad. I'll become mad. No wonder I'm lazy. I said, I don't want to become mad. So if you are outside, you're turning around every single thing. If you're inside, you're only going to face the thing you're doing. So right now you're in a lecture or a seminar and you're concentrating on that. You go to your classes and you're concentrating on what your professor is saying. And you're not worried about what you're going to eat for lunch and where you're going to go for a movie that evening. Then when you're in the movie, enjoy the movie. Don't worry about what's going to happen tomorrow. Okay? Please, these are simple things. This is also spirituality. I am sure Gandhiji is not teaching you anything other than that. You know, he's teaching you to be centered. Okay? And I have to be honest that all these people have known all these things. Now they've created professors like me who are trying to teach you these things in a more structured, scientific way. So it's nothing new. This great man who founded this, he has gone through all this. That is why he succeeded. He knew exactly what he wanted. He knew when, where, how. And he started already as a child to go to school by walking and all that. So you guys are lucky. Your parents are paying the fees so that you can come here. And they bring you perhaps, and all of you have two-wheelers, which makes my life in India miserable, because I have too many two-wheelers. And it scares me to walk in. I would not drive in India. Because it's so dangerous, so much traffic. But the beauty is I have not yet seen one single accident. Yes, because somehow it's magic how they do it. Vishal drives me, and at times I think, my God, shut your eyes, Madhu. Soon there'll be a crash. You know, it's almost touching the bumper of the car in front. I said, what happens if that guy suddenly brakes? But somehow that guy does not suddenly brake. And even if he does, Vishal brakes also. Anyway, that's another subject. So if you're centered, if you're outside or away, as I said, there are a lot of disturbances. And this is the idea of meditation, prayers. And I think you people went for prayers or something today. Didn't you say they were in prayers or something? Yeah. See, those things help you to come to yourself. And when you're praying, become one with that God to whom you're praying. I'm spiritual, truly spiritual. I've written books on spirituality. Matter of fact, I've written a book that is called, Spirituality, Illuminated Materialism and the Mind, the Human Brain, from where these diagrams or the handouts come. And in which I've explained what all this means. Because this is all together. You cannot just be materialist. And you just cannot be just spiritual. Body is material. The soul, which is an energy, is spirit. So, occult energies and matter, and there's nothing, no third dimension. The professors here, they can tell me if there is or not. Either something is molecular or something is non-molecular. It's an energy. Okay? So, body is essential for the soul to manifest itself in. And for the body, soul is essential because without it, there is no life. Now, all these great masters have talked about soul, like Sri Aurobindo and the mother and all that. Unfortunately, I have not read anywhere a definition of what the soul is. Atma. That's Sanskrit word, isn't it? There is a professor of Sanskrit here. So, Atma. And so I asked myself, what is this? So when you see a cadaver, a dead body, dissected, it has got all the organs and everything that I have. The brain, the heart, the liver, the lungs, everything is there. You look, search everywhere, where is this thing called soul? There is nothing. It's just all these organs, just like yours. Then I ask myself, what is the difference between that dead body and me? What do I have that he does not have? Or what does he have that I don't have? So I said, no. What this body does not have is life. I'm alive, it's not. So Atma is life. It gives life to body. The spirit, the soul. So the body dies, but this energy, Atma, spirit, lives. The spirit of Mahatma Gandhi, the spirit of your founder, they are there, constant. And spirits are omnipresent, omniscient, and omnipotent. Body is not. If I'm here, I can't be omnipresent. I can't be in Pondicherry at the same time. I'm here. But spirit-wise, I can be at a million places if I want to. So they, even though they might have passed away, their souls might have been reincarnated, but they are still, that soul might be in Africa somewhere, let's say. That person doesn't know that he was this great founder. But the soul does not have a brain, does not reason, but can be omnipresent, present with you the moment you think of him, or the moment you pray. Okay? So you have to feel the feelings. And as a spiritual person, I said, become one when you pray. Become one with your God. Become one with your guru, with your master. Feel him inside you. Don't ask. And these questions have been asked by patients to me. Why? Because I give also lectures in spirituality. And why is it that we pray several times a day and God is not answering our prayers? I'll give you a classical example. An American couple in wood industry, logging industry, which is a multi-billion-dollar industry. These are very wealthy people, very elderly. He was almost 90, and she was 80-something. Very wealthy Americans. And they approached me, and they told us that, look, we have everything. And we have 2 sons. We love them. We have grandchildren. But the problem is that with one son, his wife and children, they are willing to come to us. But the other son loves us very much, but he can't come because the wife doesn't want to have anything to do with us. So I said, yes, what? So, and we are praying to Jesus every day. Several times a day we pray. And he's not answering the prayers. So you know what I asked him? I asked him, please describe to me how you pray. I said, like everybody else, we fold our hands, we put our head down, and we say to Jesus, please unite us with our children. I said, when you pray, do you see Jesus Christ? No, he's in heaven. We pray to him. I said, now you know why he doesn't answer your prayers, because he's not physically present there. If you tell me, please talk to my daughter-in-law, our daughter-in-law, I'm there. I can go and talk to her and say, look, you should not do that. You go, please, and all that. But he's not there. But then what do we do? I said, yes, you can perhaps use this, what I call occult energy. Listen to this. And now it comes to what I was telling you about visualization, left and right hemisphere and so on. I said, please try this. Next time you pray, I said, you know how Jesus looks? Yes. I said, I want you to fantasize. I want you to visualize. Every time you pray, don't put your head down and think he's up there and you're praying to him. See him in front of you. Talk to him and see. Visualize and imagine that his arms that can embrace this whole universe is stretched out, and he's holding you, your two sons, their wives, and their children all to his chest, holding all of you together, and feel that energy of his love embracing you all. Please try it. Let's see what happens. And I was curious. Believe it or not, this was in Florida. And they called me a week later or so, and they said, we want you to come for a barbecue. Barbecues, when they grill, they eat meat. Junglis. Oh, I'm joking. I eat meat also. No, but I prefer vegetarian. By the way, as a doctor, my advice is vegetarian food is healthier than non-veg. Okay? You can get what meat gives through lentils and other nutritional elements that you can compensate for the protein that meat gives. But vegetarian food is much healthier than non-veg. Anyway, so they invited me, and I said, what's the occasion? It's a very special occasion, we want you to come. So I went. They said, the occasion is that you have helped us create miracles. I said, how? He says, we did what you said. And believe it or not, they said to me, it was the wife who was opposing, who called them saying, hey, it would be nice this time that the family get united, you people are getting old and we want to be close, let's get together. So they had come, the other son had come with the family. It was a family reunion, and I was the centerpiece of the family reunion because they said, thanks to you. No, I said, no, you should have known these things, you should do these things. So I teach people, hey, pray, but become one with your God. Feel him inside you. Try it, you will see, it's a very nice feeling. Also in love, you might not be able to convince your boyfriend or your boyfriend to convince his girlfriend to love you. But don't be sad, just close your eyes and feel that person. That yes, you're one with that person because you love that person. And that'll do you good. It'll not make you sad, it'll make you feel better, and it'll also send good frequencies to that person. Doesn't mean that the person will come and say, yes, I'll marry you or something. That's different. That's her or his individual choice. But these are nice things. Why suffer? And try it. I've helped so many young people, but also old people, grandparents, achieve their goals. So being centered gives you this possibility of mind, body, soul in one piece. And you can exercise this power of your soul through this state of being that you transmit without talking. You don't have to convince people. Ask my wife how fortunate we are that everything goes perfectly well for us. Wherever we go, people open their arms up. And they don't even know who I am. My titles are not written here. And I'm not George Clooney. So nobody knows me. George Clooney, everybody knows them. When they see him, they all run, they want to take pictures. But to me, they're nice and kind. They are friendly. They're always forthcoming towards my request if I need something and all that. I'm seeing that in Pondicherry, in the ashram, everywhere. And so often I have received this comment from people, how come you got this done so fast? How come this happened so quickly for you? It's through this being centered and being yourself. Now, what I did with them, this visualization that they did, is what you call putting it in their, first in the subconscious mind, that no, it is not a lost cause because for years now you're praying and it's not happening. It can happen, but you have to transmit the right occult energies. So this calmed them already, took them away from their suffering because they experienced Jesus, and they told us that we have never experienced our Lord so closely. And you have taught us something very, very precious. Because in Christianity they teach that you are not supposed to approach God directly. You go through your priest and all these things. It's different. So it is also a question of education and all that. But here comes somebody totally strange and said, hey, visualize Jesus Christ embracing you. And what is wrong in that? There's nothing wrong. It's not a sacrilege. So what is wrong? If you feel that you are touching the feet of Mahatma Gandhi, there's nothing wrong in it. It's not hurting anybody. But if it does you good, then you feel his blessings. Okay? So do use this capacity, because these frequencies, these energies, I can give you several examples, absolutely work. A young man wanting to learn to drive comes to me, 18 years old, handsome German boy, well built. So I said, what can I do for you? What is your problem? He says, fear. I said, you afraid? The way you are built? The way you look? Oh, no, sir. I'm afraid of doing my driver's license. I said, what do you mean? He says, I did my theoretical exam, got 100% points. With my driver, my teacher who teaches me how to drive, I drive perfectly well. I drive with my father, no problem. They have huge land where they live. It's in the country, so there's a lot of land. So he said, on our land, my father lets me drive the car alone, no problem. But the moment the state controller who gives the exam, says you're passed or not passed, sits in the car, he becomes nervous. And he said, I said, you have already tried it? He said, yes, I failed 3 times. And he says, the last time, I was so nervous that in 2.5 minutes, he asked me to stop, because every time it got worse, and the last time I was sweating and trembling, that in 2.5 minutes, he said, stop before you kill us all. So the doctor of my mother said, take him to Madhusudan. So he said, I'm coming to Dr. Madhusudan. Can you please help me? I said, yes, very soon. So what did I do? I made him visualize, not that he's not nervous, I made him visualize the fact that he has passed his driver's license. And how do we visualize that? That's very simple. Which is your best proof that you have passed your test? Is that you get your license. And if you show this license to your parents, that means you have already passed and you have the license, that's why you're showing it. So visualize that you're showing your parents very proudly, look, because the parents have said, if you get your driver's license, we buy you a car. And he's 18, he needs the license. So he visualized, I'm not lying. He came 3 times, then he said the exam was on Thursday. So I said, morning. So I said, you call me after your exams and let me know. And he called me and he was laughing. He says, I can't believe it. Yes, I was a little nervous, but somehow it went perfectly well, to the point the instructor or the controller asked him, how come you have changed suddenly so much? That you're not nervous, you're not trembling, you're smiling, and you did perfectly, everything perfect, no mistake at all. He said, well, it's just that somebody helped me, okay, to become more sure. It's fantastic what you can do. So, if there are any examples here, we can make a demonstration right now here, and you do the visualization, and you see, what does the visualization do? It implants it in your right hemisphere, because your right hemisphere has no logic, can't understand. So you can't put it in there. Not only that, it's good that it doesn't have a logic. Because if it had logic, it would say, hey, no, you have to pass the exam to get that diploma. You know? But here there's no logic. Once you put it in there, and believe it or not, a lot of wrong things also are being done by conditioning these terrorists. How can a young man, 25, 26 years old, who has a wife, 2 beautiful children, parents who love him, but he's a Palestinian, and to him, to kill a Jewish member of the society is something for his religion and for his God, and that he could. How is it possible that he can commit himself? How can he commit suicide? He ties bombs on his body. He is intelligent, he knows the moment he presses the button, the first person who will die is him. He will not even experience that he has killed others. How can he do it? It's because wrong people, with what I know, use it for wrong affair to condition them. So that fear is completely gone. And him, he says he's going straight to heaven. He doesn't die. Life is eternal. And I'm going to Allah. My foot, Allah doesn't want, never wants anybody to die. God is there to protect us, to give us life. Not for him to come kill himself or kill somebody else. Yes, every God gives life to human beings, doesn't demand life. On the contrary, we are born of His Spirit. So to think that God wants us to die for our nation is wrong. But if they can do that, I can also make out of a student who's a complete failure in school a champion. Honest to God. And I've done this. And that is the advantage of being 85. That not only you have studied, that's good enough. And it's very good, okay. But the experience, when you meet people, when you try out things, when you test, and I'm a man of science, I want proof. I don't believe in theory. So when your teacher teaches you something, learn, but then prove it. Understand it by logic and rationale, and then also by trying it out. And you see that what they've taught you works. And that is the best way. Then you can apply it. So, before I go any further, any questions? Yes?
How do we center?
Very good question. How do we center? This is where, perhaps, our religious practices, regardless of which faith your children come from, Christian, Muslim, or Hindu, if you really use this faith, and the moment you're praying or you're meditating, I want you to find time in the day, even if it's a few minutes, to go into that, to go within yourself. Nobody is going within themselves. They are with their God, they are with their masters, they are with their teachers, they are with their friends. But I want you to be with yourself. And the only way you can be centered is when you start being with yourself, and that starts by observing your thoughts. And you will see that your thoughts are all the time running. So you say, how do you're using the brain to control the brain by now observing your thoughts. And the moment you see that you're feeling something good, then immediately stop and say, what was I thinking I'm feeling good? Oh, I was thinking about those beautiful flowers I saw in the botanical garden. And it was making me feel good. Or if you're feeling bad, which you will see most of the time you're feeling, unfortunately. Most people are thinking negatively. Oh, how many thoughts a day on the average does a human being think? Who has the answer? Gets a chocolate from me, which I don't have. Per day, on the average, human beings have 55,000 thoughts. And almost all of them redundant, almost all. Imagine, how can you be so hardworking? How can you make your brain work so hard? Become lazy like myself. Say, no, I don't want to think so much. I only want to think that things that I need to think about. And that's why, at times I wonder, how come I got so many degrees and all that? It's because I was capable of doing things in a very concentrated way, very nice way, and without sweating. Don't sweat for studying. Study with joy. Take it as a joyous challenge and not as something arduous. Make knowledge your intimate friend and say, hey, I learned something new today. A little girl taught me something very nice on my handy, on my mobile phone. And I said, wow, fantastic. She was only 11 years old. And I did not know how to do it. And she said, I'll show you. You know? So you have to have this joy of life. So your question, how do you center yourself, is first by being conscious of yourself. To be within yourself, to be with yourself. And one of the best times is when you're praying. When you have prayers in the school, you have a chance. You don't have to learn something. I've not attended your prayer sessions. But if you go, I'm sure it's normal prayer session. So why don't you use that to be with that prayer? Already then you're centered. You're already being in yourself because you're feeling, understanding, and feeling the energy of the words you're using. Are these prayers repeated or are they silent?
They are to chant.
They're chant. So that helps because chanting creates an extra energy. It makes it even stronger. Okay, it makes it easier. But notice you will see you're chanting the prayer, but your thoughts are somewhere else. I'm being honest. This is how the brain works. It's not because you are stupid, no. It's your brain that's playing tricks with you. You have to do like myself. I have told my brain, if you don't do what I tell you to do, I'll buy a gun and I'll blow you out. And my brain is very scared to be shot. So it does what I say. No, you have to use these techniques of centering, is becoming first conscious of yourself. And you start with such occasions, at least that is a structured occasion. This is the benefit of having it as a regular exercise or whatever you call it. I don't know, you do this regularly or is this just once in a while that there is a prayer? Every day. So you see, that is the advantage of this discipline. You say, oh, what a drag, I have to go for prayers. No, no. It's a chance for you to be with yourself and your God and the divine. Yes, perhaps one of these days I come to the prayer session and hear. In what language do you say your prayers?
This is from Bhagavad Gita. Sanskrit.
Sanskrit. Well, somebody will have to interpret it for me first so that I can understand, because my Sanskrit is very, very... I don't speak any Sanskrit. Ancient, precious language, and those who can, they are fortunate if they can read and understand Sanskrit, because the philosophical scriptures in India in Sanskrit are mind-boggling. Children, Hinduism is not only a religion. No, no, no. Hinduism is more than a religion. You can make it a religion, but Hinduism is high-level spirituality. It's a way of life. It's philosophy. So even a staunch practicing Muslim or a Jew can practice Hinduism because it is a philosophy. It is spirituality. So it is not exclusively only for non-Christians and non-Muslims or Hindus. We call ourselves Hindus, but everybody, because there is no ceremony that makes you a Hindu. To be a Christian, you have to be baptized, then you have become a Christian. So Hinduism is a high-level philosophy. So anyway, when you do your prayers, I want you to take that opportunity to be with yourself and with what you are repeating. Then you are one with the soul, because God is soul. The God you are praying to is your soul. So you're one with yourself. And then practical advice is to try now to, not just through prayers, but to observe your thoughts and to control your thoughts. So I must confess that unless I do that, I could not be the happiest man on earth. So I analyze my thoughts. If something is disturbing me, I change the subject. And what helps not to have wrong thoughts and wrong vibrations is to avoid literature or movies or television programs or newspapers and all that where there's only negative things. Okay? Because then that only disturbs you. So, yes, sure, I like watching John Wayne, cowboy movies. But then I know how to take a distance from it and don't become with it. But otherwise also, I don't like watching very violent movies, even though I can block it and watch it, I don't like it. Why should I stress myself to block it? I don't watch it. And if you do, then you should learn how to keep a distance, that this is only on the screen and you don't take the energy into, because otherwise if you measure, and we have done this, these tests have been performed in laboratory, what it does to your blood pressure and your health. And in your diagram, you will see, I've given the diagram also of your limbic center. It's a part of the brain which we call the primitive brain. In the book, these things are well explained, and it's not a theoretical neurological book or something. I've used neurology to explain certain phenomena, but the book is very simple. Even the sweeper, if he can read English, he will understand. So it's not high-level philosophy or something that is difficult to understand. If you read the book, it's going to help you definitely to manifest your dreams. Not only your objectives, but also that you want a car, you want to have a beautiful house, and these things, you can all manifest all these things. It explains the law of manifestation also, how something becomes a reality. Have you ever thought how something becomes a reality, how something is manifested? How did this chair, when did this chair become a reality? How did it come about to be? This chair came about to be when the man who made it said in his head, thought in his head, I want to make chairs. I want to make something with my hands. Then he says, what? Not tables, not almirahs, chairs. Already this chair is starting to manifest. Not as it is now. But then more he concentrates on it, and that is why you have to know what you want exactly. So then he says, yes, the chair should be like this. It should have this color, it should have this kind of material and all that. He has planned everything before he starts. Then he starts getting the material and everything, the instruments he needs, and the chair is born. So it started as an energy, with a thought. And only then it can become something. Okay? You can't achieve anything without this understanding of how things happen energetically. So if you think carefully in things that you've succeeded in achieving, being a good cricket player or football player or whatever, where you're good, or playing the flute or whatever, or when you had success in a class, if you analyze, you will see that it started as an energy, as an idea that you want to study that, you want to learn that, and you want to pass that exam. So wanting is the first element of manifestation. Somebody wants it, it creates an energy. I want to make a chair. Otherwise it won't manifest. Then there's the energy of Mother Lakshmi. It's an energy. Money is not matter, it is energy. It is represented as a matter for mathematical purposes, accounting purposes. In the beginning, there was no money. The hunter went for hunting, and he used bows and arrows from somebody who made them. So he said, "You please give me arrows, and when I've killed something, I'll give you meat." So that was fine. But then comes a time that he has given more meat than he has taken arrows because he's using the same arrows. So then we have to have some kind of accounting, debit and credit. So then they started with pebbles perhaps, or with shells and all that, and slowly evolved money pieces, and slowly the notes, just for purpose of accounting. But money, if you keep it, eventually will turn into powder, perhaps in 100 years or less. And it does nothing. So for me, my money in the bank is doing nothing. And if I have to travel, I can walk from Pondicherry to Bangalore. But I'm not an idiot. I said, why? I have money in the bank, it's lying there, it's doing nothing. I'll take it and I'll buy the tickets by air and fly from Pondicherry to Bangalore. Then the money was activated, the energy of Sri Ma Lakshmi, Mother Lakshmi. Mother Lakshmi is the energy of money, wealth. And I want you all to really fix it in your head as a permanent aim in your life, to be prosperous. Prosperity is truly essential for solving poverty and everything, and it is essential for evolution of matter. Everything that you see, apart from plants, nature grows with water and sunshine. Everything else happens through the will of man, through the energy of Mother Lakshmi, money, and the divine grace. Okay? Which I'll explain in another seminar when we talk of spirituality, but today I want you to know that you can create these energies of attaining. If you observe how you have succeeded in something, why can't you not use that energy for that? Okay? Occultism is a science, and all of you are using it without knowing that you are using occultism. Your handies, your mobile phones. This digital energy. If 80 years ago I would have told that one day there will be a time when telephones will not have these cables, and there will be a small machine with which I can. Today, if I call my friend Norman in Melbourne in Australia, the moment I dial his number and press the green button, it starts ringing. And there's no wire, no nothing. And I can't see the frequencies, they're occult. But they're so fast, they're so potent, they go through walls, they go through mountains, everything, and immediately are there in Australia. It is occultism. Energies are more powerful than muscles, okay, or jumbo jets. They go immediately. When the scientists found out that there is this particular energy, this digital energy, they studied it, they analyzed it, they learned what it is, they learned how to manipulate it, and then they learned how to apply it, and they made computers, they made mobile phones and all that. That is how it happened. Occultism applied. Now it is not occultism. This is science, digital science. Okay, and your teachers are preparing these digital scientists. Okay, but They're preparing people in the field of occultism. They're creating through this, through energies, through their knowledge, which is occult. Okay? So this is a beautiful field. Your brain has incredible occult powers. Apply them and you will see. I will give you another example why your brain is so important, why you should use it. I'm sure you've experienced that you want to call someone and you are going towards your telephone and that person calls you. Or you are thinking of someone and suddenly you meet him. Okay? How come? Many people think it's accidental. No. These frequencies travel. And if you're receptive, then Norman, if his cell phone was switched off, I press the green button, but he doesn't receive the call. It goes there, I receive, it's occupied or it's shut off. So the same thing, you think of your mother, and if she suddenly is receptive, perhaps she's unconscious of it, but she's receptive inwardly, automatically she thinks of you. Okay? So you can use these things. You can try it out with your friends and play with it. And I want you to be able to question me and ask concrete questions. And I'm sure I can explain how you can solve these concrete things. And you're using all these things. You're using also occult energies, as I said. Your decision to study something or to succeed something is occult at first. Like this chair. It started with occult energy. So you can achieve everything. You have to only formulate it, so you have to have your goals very clearly marked, what you want, when, how, to go to the courses, and you have to. And this divine grace, what we say, God will answer, is what we call divine grace. But God will only answer if you do what you are praying for. So I don't pray. I'm very spiritual, but I don't pray. Why? Because I said, what's the sense of my praying? Because if I pray, after I finish praying, I'm going to get up and do what I was praying for. Okay? So he had not to pray. He had to do. He didn't pray to God and say, I want my diploma. He said, no, I'm going to go and study. And he went and he found his professors and he did his diploma. So you have to learn these things and you have to use them concretely. And use your right hemisphere for getting rid of fear. So in seminars, actually, there should be demonstrations. But I want to finish so that all of you can also have your lunch and so on. Plus, there is only so much a brain can retain. Being a neurologist, it's useless telling you a lot of things and you can't retain. So the essential things you should retain is that your brain has powers that you should exercise. These powers are in your right hemisphere and your left hemisphere. So learn how to visualize. So find your goal, what you want, make a picture of it in your mind. It can be a fictive picture. So it's easy that you want to buy a Ferrari. Is a Ferrari car? No, okay. It's an Italian car. You want to buy a Ferrari, or you'd like to possess a Ferrari, then I want you to visualize. And I want you like to say, okay, when I graduate, I want a Ferrari. So visualize that you have just come with your graduation cap and everything, and there's a Ferrari waiting in front of your house or outside the college. And see what happens. And believe it or not, I've done things like that with people. A German man, came to me in my office in Berlin from a very big city in Germany. He was, I think at that age, approximately 35 or something. He said he's married, he has 2 children. And he says he needs my help. He was very well dressed, very handsome. But I could see that tall, as Germans are very handsome, German men. Girls, you want handsome husbands? They're in Bangalore. Indian men are also very handsome. At least my wife thinks so, and I think so too. So he looked a little insecure the way he was talking. So I saw also that he was having speech problems, so I said, what can I do for you? So he says, I have problems. What problem? First, I'm very insecure. I stutter when I talk, and I'm very nervous when I meet people. So what else? He says, I have a secret. So I said, what? And I like to joke, so I said, don't tell me you have killed your mother-in-law. He said, I have a secret that nobody knows of. So when he said that to me, I said, don't tell me you have killed your mother-in-law. He said, doctor, please. No, I'm not killing my mother-in-law. So I said, no, I'm joking. So he tells me that though he's 35, he can't read and he can't write. I said, you're well dressed, so you must be working. He says, yes, I work. What do you do? He says, I work for UPS. It's a United Parcel Service. It's a transport company that brings parcels in Europe. So he says, my colleague drives, and he tells me that parcel goes that door there, and they pay me. But nobody knows that I can't read and write. So I said, look, I don't teach reading and writing. No, I want you to help me with what I've heard about you, that you can help me. And he came from another big city, and somebody recommended that he come to me. So he said, I want you to help me with the techniques that in neurology that you have done and all that. Just to make things short, this man invited us not very long afterwards to this big city to show me, okay, first he wanted to read and write, and then I said, what else? He said, I want to become rich. So I said, oh my goodness, you can't read, you can't write, you want to be rich? There's no problem. How do you want to become rich? Do you know? And this is what I like. All of you want to become rich, but I want you to know like him, how? And he says, I would like to have my own moving company, that when you move households from one house to another, they transport you. At least we have that service in Germany. They have big trucks, the companies. They come, they pack, they put everything, and they transfer. They open up, they place the furniture and everything for you. I want to have a... Here, so he told me exactly how he wanted his trucks painted, how they should be, what he wants. And he visualized with me how his organization would be. That in the morning the trucks go out and things. Believe it or not, we were in Paris with an Italian group of 25 Italians with me, visiting Paris. And at Arc de Triomphe, which is the center point of Paris, there is this Arc of Triumph, and there are all these big avenues that meet there. Place de la Concorde also it's called. We see his truck from his company that had stopped, and the driver was looking in the map to know which avenue to take, because all these avenues go from this round point there. That man truly succeeded. He became a millionaire. He had his company. He invited my wife and me to see. And honest, he had fulfilled everything he had visualized. And this man could not read and write. Now he can read and write. And he made $1 million company. He was, I think, the second largest mover in his big city. And that's why I don't tell his name, because if I say his name is so-and-so, automatically know which city and which person, because, or if I say which city, he's the biggest, second biggest mover, you can find out. So if I say Berlin, then you find out who is the biggest city, or Mr. So-and-so is the second biggest mover. So for anonymity, I don't tell, but these are fantastic people. Imagine, not able to read and write at age 35, and I'm sure all of you are younger than age 35. Most of your teachers are most probably hardly 35. So you can imagine what we can do with our brain if you use it and apply it with all its capacities. And I can prove it to you. Any questions? Any critic or whatever? You're free. You can criticize me. You can say you don't believe it. Why not? We live in a democracy. Yes, sir. Is it not similar to? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Daydreaming. No. This is the problem. People dream of what they want. They fantasize of what they want. But they have to fix it in the neurological system so that it becomes an effective energy. So this man who made this chair might have been daydreaming that he's rich and all that, or that he would like to make something interesting and all that. But the day he decided how, and then he started making clearer picture, it is The best examples are architects. Architects have to start by first visualizing how. In this hall, in this building, every single brick is exactly in the place the way the architect had planned it. And he visualizes how this is going to look first. He doesn't just start building and it becomes like this. He has to plan all this, first in his head. Then he goes on sketches. Or simultaneously, while he's sketching, measuring, counting, and evaluating. Also evaluating pressures, weights, everything. That's not daydreaming. He dreamed of being an architect. But then when he became an architect, he started truly applying all these techniques that I'm talking about, without knowing that he's doing it, but there is an excellent example, and then every brick is in exactly the same place. So you can achieve exactly what you want, and even go beyond. And I have used all this. If you ask me why I feel so sovereign, why I feel so happy, why I feel so centered, why I have no fear, it's because I apply what I know. What sense does it make to have this knowledge and not apply it on myself? Then it's useless. Okay? Your professors teach you things that they know. They can apply it. Your professor can get any position. She can get multi-million-dollar positions in America. She knows that, but she wants to teach you. So I applaud that. I said, too bad, I want you to become a millionaire so you can buy me a Ferrari. There's a young boy in Bangalore, and his parents and they all come to me. And he said, sir, they call me sir, sir, I have a wish and I have a dream. I said, what? He says, I want to be, and he's what? How old is Ujjwal? 11. He says, I want to become a millionaire. You know, that is my best challenge. I'll prove it to you that Ujjwal will be one of the big millionaires of Bangalore. You watch. It is, and I've seen this. I've seen children fulfill their dreams, and I help them. So I help Ujjwal. And Ujjwal is a great student of mine or great fan of mine. Sure, he loves me because I promised him that he's going to become a millionaire. So what, which friend can be better? And to be centered, this is what I said, you have to become self-conscious. Go within yourself. We breathe 24 hours a day. Tell me, when have you ever thought that you are breathing? But if I suffocate you, immediately you become aware of it. It's important. What a pity that you become aware of it just when you're suffocating. I'm aware of it. So that's why I like to go into fresh air. And my wife says, come, we have got to sit on the beach. The sea air is good for us. So I have to go to the beach every evening, even if I'm tired, and sit on the beach wall and breathe fresh air. No, I love to go there. We love sitting there and watching the ocean. So, centered will come only if you start becoming aware of yourself first and what's going on in your brain. The more you become aware, the more centered you become, and you will see how much power you acquire. It doesn't matter what background you come from. It doesn't matter what your parents do. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter how you dress. You are the person, not what you wear, not what you know. Not my degrees make me a successful man. No, it is my state of consciousness, my love and my passion for life. I'm so happy, I love everything that's beautiful. Change your attitudes. Stop criticizing. Watch the best part of it. See the best part. I'm amazed. I've seen in Italy, wealthy people come to me, ladies, and the first thing they do is they start shouting, because I had my office in a very posh area of Turin, and there rich people live, and rich people in Italy have dogs, not small dogs, big dogs. And then they take them out for walk. They don't have Lalbagh to take the dogs for. They don't want to go to the park. They take them out on the street in the morning when the dog wants to shit. And the dog does it on the pavement. The law is that they should take it. They have special gloves or bags that you put your hand in and you take so you don't dirty your hand. But they are rich, so they don't care. So these ladies complain, saying, oh, these people, their dogs shitting on the footpath. I said, why are you paying attention to the shit? The only attention you should pay to the shit is that you don't put your foot, not more than that. But you are now all excited, you're going to pay my expensive fees for consultation, and you're complaining about dog shit. Tell me that your husband beat you up or something, that might be a valid subject. But no, the dog. I said, you should look at the beautiful dog and say, how beautiful, and just make sure you don't step in it. That's it, forget it. Because you can't change the fact. And by the way, what you can't change, don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. What you can't change, once you know it, you can't change it. So don't argue about politics and all those things that you can't change. It's not in your power. Why waste your time? Okay? So don't criticize, but enjoy things that are beautiful. Become one with this positive energy around you. Look at the little flower growing out of the asphalt. What a miracle. Small little flower out of this asphalt that is so hard, so hot, but it finds its way out. And you are like that. You can find your way out of any mess, any economic difficulties. I come from a multi-million-dollar family. But you know, at the age of 21, I went to Europe against my family's will with $5 in my pocket. I've never received a scholarship. I've never borrowed money because banks won't lend to a student who has no money. How is he going to pay back? He's studying, he's not even working. I couldn't apply for a scholarship because I said his father is a rich man. So I didn't even apply. And this is why, not long ago, I was asking my wife, it's a miracle. How come I did all these degrees? How come I succeeded in doing all? And I had fun. I was the clown of my classes. So I was enjoying what I was doing. And she says, no, you worked hard. See, she saw me working, and somehow I've washed floors of old ladies as a student to earn money, to pay. I've worked as an interpreter because I speak several languages. So from English to French, French to English, English to German, German to English. You know? And earned as a student, like all of you. I don't know if all of you come from rich family, perhaps, I don't know. Anybody here who works? Any student here who works? I compliment you. And I say, you will make it. Keep at it and aspire to make more and more. Yes, all of you should make it. Make it economically. Yes, girls, you also. You're girls. That doesn't make any difference from boys. Why should men have jobs and women be cooks? If your in-laws want that you cook, you tell them, hire a cook. You know? Yes. I heard about a person for a marriage candidate, and the question to this girl was, to this young, beautiful girl, who earns very, very well, very successful, graduate and everything. The first question they ask is, can you cook? That's it. She said, I don't want your son. And she should have said, to hell with your son, get him a cook, or marry him to a cook. I can recommend one. Our cook is a very good cook. No, this is nonsense. No, you are daughters of India. You're daughters of Mahatma Gandhi and your founder. You're children of the divine. You are inferior to no one. No man, no woman, no one. You are yourself. You are your personal master. And you are sovereign. But you are kind, loving, generous, open. Embrace everyone. I embrace everybody. Okay? My waiters, as well as the owners of the hotel where I live. They're all welcome. Why not? They're all my children. And so are you all. If you don't have any questions, no. So to come back, daydreaming is not bad, but it is, daydreaming wastes a lot of time because you're only spending by dreaming. And what I'm trying to teach is to apply those dreams. And to make those dreams come true, it's even more fun. Hey, just imagine, dreaming of good food, or daydreaming of good food, is not a bad idea, but eating good food is even better, isn't it? So please, learn that everything has its value. I'm also very romantic. I like to daydream. Do I daydream? I'll have to find out. I'm joking. Okay, any questions? Yes, please, stand up and ask. Since I can't hear you, I'll come to you because I wear a microphone, you can hear me, but I can come to you. Yeah, tell me.
Unless we don't execute it, no matter how much we manifest it, it's no use.
Absolutely. See, he's.
Most people have trouble in executing it.
What do you mean by executing it? You have to explain me, please.
Like for example, you gave an example about manifesting a chair. So if he hadn't worked or if he hadn't put an effort
It's,
into it,
listen, please. What this young man is saying, I gave the example of that chair. He manifested it. But he says that if he just dreams of it, thinks about it, he plans it, but he doesn't execute it, it won't be fulfilled. That's true. What's the sense in imagining I'm going to make a chair, visualize it and everything, and then not make it? And that is the meaning of success, that you have to go to the point that said, no, I'm going to make it, not only make it, but I'm going to make sure that it's so, that I can make money with it. I know a very, very talented designer, a lady, Italian girl, very brilliant. If you see her designs of furniture she has made, it's absolutely fantastic. But she did not succeed. She could design, she even got models made, but she did not succeed in applying it, in manufacturing it, and creating a business out of it. So she just created one chair or one sofa or seating thing. So what you're saying is exactly the point, that daydreaming that is the problem, that you dream about it, but you're not applying it and you're not manifesting it. What you learn from your professors, they are proud when you pass your exams and so on. But I am sure you're a professor. Is it enough for you? You're proud when your students pass the exam. Is that correct? But I'm sure you're even prouder when you hear that one of your students has become a top scientist or a top engineer somewhere. See? She becomes even happier that her student has become a top engineer. So all of you can achieve heights. Don't worry about the fact that you're girls or boys. Don't worry about the fact that you come from rich families or influential families. Look, if I, who came from a rich family, I told my father, I don't want your wealth. My father's argument was that he has enough money for us children. 11 children he had. Imagine. And I was the black sheep of the family. So he said, I have enough money for all of you to come 21, I don't know why you used the word 21 times on this earth, and you won't be able to spend all the money. Which is not true. My two brothers have already spent it. I'm joking. No, but I told him, I don't want your fortune. I don't want to run your business. Hey, by the way, my name is Patel. And Patels are business people. I'm not. No. Truly, you have to have this self-confidence. And I told him, no, I want to study. And when the mother, the ashram who brought me up, she could have easily arranged for me to have money and all that. And I told her, no, I'm going to do it on my own. And she told me, fine. And you know what she said? When I was leaving, and this is perhaps what Gandhiji would tell you. This is what your founder will tell you. Be courageous. Be courageous like a soldier. Listen, children. Final words. Be courageous like a soldier and be strong like a saint. And believe it, a saint can also be very happy. I am strong like a saint, but I enjoy life. I truly enjoy life. Nobody can say that I'm living an exceptional life of abstinence from this, that. No, I don't exaggerate anything. I don't do anything that harms me. I don't do anything that harms others. I want you guys and you girls, or you girls and you guys, to really have a great time. Enjoy life. Be happy. That's the only meaning of being on earth. They asked the Dalai Lama, children in India, I saw this on television, but I had written it in one of my books, which was in Italian, but now it has been translated. There's another book also called Laws and Principles of Spirituality. They asked Dalai Lama, what is the reason of life? Why are we on this earth? And Dalai Lama said, the only reason for being on this earth is to be happy. Imagine how beautiful. That is why we should be spiritual. Spirituality is for you to be happy. So if you're happy, it means you're living a spiritual life. It doesn't matter what you're eating, what you're drinking, what you're doing. You can't do wrong and be happy. So if you're happy, that means you're not doing anything wrong. Everything is right. Your physical health is good, your mental health is good, your social life is good, your social health, because you have to get along. I love humanity. So you have to get along with everybody. So that's where, and then your spiritual life is healthy. And what is spirituality? It's loving life, loving people, loving nature. My wife, if she sees an ant, she wants to pick it up and take it. It's very difficult to pick up an ant. But she said, no, you should take it out. Yeah, it's nice. Now, you don't have to exaggerate, but live life happily, enjoy yourself. Please. And when you're sad and you're suffering, call me, write me. I'm very discreet, and I will always help. So use people who can help you, especially your professors who are close to you. Go talk to them. They have at least more experience than you. So my advice to all of you, use the resources which are near you. Use the resources that were given by the founders of this college. And use me, I'm there. I love you all. Have a great time. Namaste. By the way, listen, use the techniques of visualization. When you use the techniques of visualization, it helps you to implant what you want in your subconscious mind, on your right hemisphere. That's the only way. You have to put what you want as a picture in your right hemisphere. Okay? So you do that. Visualize things that you want, and then you will see it will happen. Believe in yourself. The person most important in your life is yourself, so believe in yourself.
Sir, we are very fortunate to have you here today. We have learnt self-centered, the hemispheres of brain, visualization, many more concepts. We would look forward also to your to assist our students in achieving all this. Thank you, sir. Thank you for being with us today here. Please accept this, sir. Sir, yeah.
Remember, when I say I love you, I really mean that. And I want you to learn the meaning of love. So love and be happy. Thank you.
One more minute, sir. One more minute. Our special thanks to our student Shreyas, who has given us this opportunity in getting Madhusudan sir here. Thank you so much. Our thanks to Mr. Vishal also for organizing the same. Please, please stand up now. Let our students. This is Shreyas, our old student, who has graduated from here. Our thanks to Mr. Vishal also, sir. We thank all the guests who are here, also our teachers and our students for being here, very patiently listening also. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you.